So I know the question that you're asking is, was the Next Level 4 event, the showcase from Prime 1 Studio, a hit or miss? Let's talk about it next. Good day, my friends, and welcome back once again to Brotherhood of the Bat Collectibles. My name's Chris, and I'm the Batman statue collector, and I am fresh back right here from Kansas City, Planet Comic-Con. I will have that video up for you guys this week, my entire experience touring that fun. It was just a really fun event, really fun. But of course, I was also in Kansas City, and we did the Next Level reaction show. Now that was a blast. I want to thank the team for filling in for me, for hosting. Again, thank you, Dan, and thank you to the entire team. That was a really fun event, but there obviously were some highs and some lows. There were some hits, there were some misses, and so I wanted to share my thoughts on that event. Of course, we did talk about it during that event, and again, thanks for everybody that tuned in. That was absolutely fantastic, but I definitely have some thoughts on individual pieces and the event itself. So without further ado, let's talk about this event. Is it a hit or a miss? So actually, I want to start with a miss, and the big miss for me for the entire show was the format. I thought the format, quite frankly, sucked. It was long, it was boring at times, but that was also because I am not so much an anime collector or various movie pieces, so certain pieces didn't interest me. But that's always been the case when we do the reaction shows. But I have really loved Showcase 1, 2, and 3. I thought they were all really well done. And that format was, they would have this really great grid system, right? And there would be all these different logos. And, you know, we would kind of shuffle them around, and then it would show, let's say, a Transformers logo. And then we'd bring up a package of a whole bunch of different reveals for the Transformers. Then once that's done, you shift gears and maybe you move on to Jurassic Park or something that pulls up that section. And then it would pull up a DC section, and you would get all the reveals back to back to back. And I just felt like it flowed so much better. But this one felt tedious. It was 3 hours, which I love that. I love that. I love being able to spend 3 hours with you guys. But it was really boring at times. Now, it was definitely anime heavy. There was a lot of Berserk, which is, I understand that the creator had passed away, so that was a tribute to him. I didn't really understand that at the time of watching. But there were a lot of really good reveals throughout the show, but I feel like it was just slow paced. And again, that might be me. That might be because I just wasn't interested in some of that anime stuff. It was beautiful art, of course, but and I wasn't the only one. Like, the whole team felt that way. All the people in the chat felt it was just, and people have commented on the video too, they just hated the format. So Prime 1, if you are watching or if you are listening to feedback, please go back to your original format. I think that was so much fun, and it was just, whatever reason, it just flowed so much better. So again, the biggest miss for me of the entire show was the format, the pacing, if you will. Okay? But I did think that the hosts were great. I think that the video packages were fantastic. They continue to up the level of production, the way they show their graphics of their logo and everything else. The artist interview, I also really, and this is all a hit for me right here, I love that they showed so much of the behind the scenes. I don't think they've ever done that at Prime 1. They showed sculptors painting and airbrush and using ZBrush and things like that. I really love that, and I know a lot of other collectors do. We like that behind the scenes stuff, to be able to understand what goes on behind the scenes of the art. And so that right there was a really big hit for me. I really enjoyed that very much, and I hope you guys did as well. So again, that was a hit, but the miss was the big format. That was definitely the format. I just didn't understand it at all, okay? So now we have that out of the way, we can start talking about some of the big hits for me in terms of the statues. I absolutely, of course, am going to talk about the DC pieces, because again, that is what I love. Now, we can, of course, talk about all the other lines, all the other statues, but that's not what I'm going to do here today, because I know this is the Batman channel. You're probably here for Batman content. So let's start out with my biggest hit, in my opinion, for me personally, is the Penguin piece. The Penguin and Batman. The way that you could put them together. We actually were scared for a minute that they were going to be 4 scale. Prime 1 has confirmed it is going to be 3rd scale, so I'm very excited about that. I love the Penguin. I think it is an absolutely awesome piece. I love the way he's holding the umbrella as a gun. I think that's fantastic. Now, what I would like to see, though, instead of that Danny DeVito-esque portrait with the Vulture, I would have loved to have seen an Arkham Knight Penguin, you know, an Arkham-verse Penguin. I think that would have been an absolutely awesome head sculpt. Now maybe, just maybe, Prime 1 Studio will surprise us with a bonus head sculpt, and fingers crossed that would be it. Could you even imagine? I just think it would tie in very, very well. It's not perfect, you know, for the Arkham-verse, but to have an Arkham head, come on, that would be incredible, right? Come on, Prime 1, listen to that. That would be amazing. So anyway, you have the Penguin, and then you also have, of course, Batman behind him, and that looks absolutely insanely good. I love that he's up high, looking down. Now, he is looking straight out, which I kind of wish he was looking down more toward the Penguin. But I really think that this, oh, and by the way, this is going to be 2 separate pieces, 2 separate purchases. But I love it. The fabric cape, I'm kind of iffy about. I would have maybe preferred sculpted, maybe. But I love the idea that you can pair up this Batman with anybody in your collection. Now, some people have said this looks quarter scale. And that's because Penguin is tiny. Like, Penguin is a tiny person. So that's why it looks a little bit like that. But it is confirmed by Prime 1. Kelvin Locke, our friend out there, he has confirmed it to be 1/3. So that is fantastic news. But I really think you could pair it up with maybe that Jorge Jimenez Joker or other pieces if you so choose. I just don't know how tall it'll be. We don't have the dimensions yet. But I absolutely love that Penguin. I think they did a phenomenal, phenomenal job with it, and I will absolutely 100% be adding it to my collection as soon as it's up for pre-order. So I cannot wait. Love the Penguin. So glad that we finally are getting a 3rd scale Penguin. And that's just fantastic. They're the very first company in the world to ever do it. So that's fantastic news for all the Penguin collectors out there. Okay, so that was a big, big hit for me. Another hit for me was the Jorge Jimenez Joker Batman, the Joker in Batsuit. That is really exciting. Now this, of course, is another piece with a punchline and the Joker to add to the collection. I haven't quite 120% decided if that's going to enter the Batcave yet. I want to see more. I want to see the price point, but I really, really like it. It is something I had no interest in, but as soon as I saw it on the show, I'm like, well, this is actually really awesome. It's really cool. So I think that it'll probably more than likely end up in the cave just because it's so unique, it's so different, and again, it's the freaking Joker, which you guys know I love. And so even though it might not be like the greatest Joker image of all time, it's still unique, and I do think it is worthy of the Batcave. So time will tell, but I'm curious as to what you guys thought of that particular piece. I thought it was awesome. Another really big hit for me was, of course, and it's something that I wouldn't add to the Batcave, but that Green Lantern and Sinestro. I think that that looked absolutely phenomenal. I was really, really impressed with it overall. The art direction, how dynamic it was, I thought that was very, very cool. So I'm excited for collectors out there that have waited forever for a 3rd scale Green Lantern. I just think that's very exciting. And again, I actually prefer the Sinestro over Green Lantern. The portraits, the swap outs, they're all really, really well done. And I just think that they're really great. So again, to me, it's a hit. It's not something I'm going to add, but it's definitely a hit in my opinion. Maybe a little bit of a miss for me was that Hellbat. And maybe it's just because I'm not as familiar with the character, or I just don't really love the Batman armors and things like that. So it looks cool, but for me it's a miss just because it's not something I'm interested in. But the art is beautiful, of course, and it looks like it might have a light up feature and things like that, so that's good. But again, it's kind of a miss for me. A hit for me is going to be that Batman Who Laughs versus Batman. It has been confirmed to be quarter scale. So again, we have that Killer Croc versus Batman. We have the Batman versus Batman Who Laughs. So clearly they're starting a versus line in quarter scale. So that's very exciting. Quarter scale, obviously, are a cheaper price point. They don't take up as much room. It is interesting that they're doing quarter. Of course, Sideshow has had that, that pigeonholed on the market for a very long time. So I'm excited about that piece. I absolutely love my Batman Who Laughs. So I don't know if I need, I have a great Sideshow quarter scale as well, so I don't know if I'm going to need this one, but I really love the art direction. So that's absolutely a possibility, and I love how dynamic it is. It has a great storytelling element, so that might end up in the Batcave, but I do think it's a really big hit. Now, of course, we only saw a render of it, so anyway, I do think it's awesome. A miss for me is the Stanley Art Germ Lau Cyberpunk Harley Quinn. It's neat that they're doing something, but I feel like this is the weakest of all of those statues, the weakest of all of his images, because I love Stanley Art Germ Lau. He is phenomenal. He has inspired a great deal number of statues. But But I just feel like this cyberpunk thing, and I don't know if it's like, you know, kind of just like his interpretation of her or what, but I'm not impressed. I've heard a lot of like Miley Cyrus, you know, with the tongue sticking out type of thing. So it's just not my cup of tea. If you love it, great. Again, art is always in the eye of the beholder. It's subjective. So again, these are just my opinions. So, you know, don't hate me for that. But again, that's why you're here watching. So it's just not my thing. It's just not my favorite. Let's see, what else did we have at the event? Oh yeah, we had that Future State Batman out. That's another one that I have not read. I'm not really into that yet. So I don't know if this would be one that I like, but I loved the art direction. I thought the art direction was actually really cool. I thought the portraits were really cool. So I do think that it's a hit, but it's a little bit of a miss for me just because I'm not tied into that emotionally. It was brought up to the attention, you know, we keep getting these oddball versions like the Joker statue or like this one. We get these oddball statues when the community continues to ask just for regular characters. We still just want a Clayface or a Two-Face or a Man-Bat. We want characters, Nightwing, which we got from the Hush line, but we've asked for Hush Catwoman and things like that. We want these characters. So I understand that it's a creative decision, but we continue to ask and want some of those other characters. So I hope that Prime 1 continues to listen to that and still gives us those offshoots, but I would really, really like to see more of the traditional characters. What do you guys think? Okay, so that again is a little bit of a miss for me, but it's still a cool statue with that Future State, but you know, it is what it is. They also did that Devastator, which is absolutely incredible. Again, not something that I'm going to want, but I think the Devastator looked really, really awesome. But I feel like the big miss in that is that Batman that kind of goes with him. He's super low to the ground. And so we pointed it out on the show. The big miss is you have to display him up high. It's the only way he's going to look good. And so I do feel like that Batman is a miss, which is funny because then we almost saw the exact same Batman later on with that Penguin diorama, right? It's almost the exact same thing. So I personally think that is a miss, but I feel like Devastator is incredible looking. I did like the Batman, how he can transform, like that crazy face and the stuff on his arms. That did look cool to me, but I just feel like he needs to be raised up a bit, maybe, okay? And I don't know what the price point is on him, so maybe he'll be cheaper because he's so kind of tiny and kind of crouched down, I don't know. But Devastator, good lord, that thing is massive, it's incredible. And again, it's all part of that Dark Knight's metal line. So many great pieces. That line has just been absolutely incredible. It's definitely been a hit in terms of, you know, just the art. And again, I'm just not tied into the Dark Knight's metal. It's just not my thing. I do like the Batman Who Laughs just for the look and the aesthetic, but I don't really love the storyline. But I just like Batman, traditional Batman. I don't like those Elseworld things necessarily. So that was really cool in my opinion. What else did we see? We also saw that Power Suit Batman. That was it's kind of like a diorama where it's got all the Justice League fighting him. That's neat looking, but it's again nothing I would buy. So I don't know. For me, it's a bit of a miss. Again, it's just a render. We just, you know, kind of saw a little bit of it, but you know, it is what it is. Still cool, but again, just not really my thing at all. Another one that I did forget to talk about was the Deathstroke with the God Killer sword. Now, that is a really interesting storyline where he actually discovers the God Killer sword, I believe, and introduces it to the Dark Knight's metal world. I think it is really cool. I'm really hoping that that particular statue has some more traditional swap outs, regular swords or regular guns. Because if so, I might consider it. But if it's just the swords, I would not be interested. It does look really cool. I love that they're again working with the artist. I think that's phenomenal. I love that, you know, Prime 1 does that. But at the end of the day, it's just with the swords, the big giant God Killer sword, it's just not my thing. But again, if it's more traditional, I think it would be a big hit. Otherwise, it's a bit of a miss for me, but it still looks badass. It's still very, very cool. Another honorable mention I want to do before we wrap this up is I really, really liked that Vampirella that they teased. Beautiful, beautiful statue. I'm actually sitting here thinking, how could I justify a Vampirella in my Batman statue collector collection? And I'm thinking, well, she's got bats flying off of her. That ties in, right? Holy moly, that is a beautiful, sensual, sexy statue. Just absolutely incredible. I think that is going to be an epic epic popular piece for sure in the community. So I love that piece. I'm curious as to what you think as well. Again, so many great statues. I'm sure I missed maybe some of the DC. I hope I covered almost all of them, but those are the ones and the hits and misses that stood out to me. I really liked the Jurassic Park stuff I saw and the Predator stuff. There was a lot of great things. I was hoping that we would still see some of those statues that we didn't get to see, revealed more from the last show, like the Gabriel Del Otto Batman on Throne. I really wanted to see that with the Alfred. Those are both quarter scale. So I'm hoping that we continue to see more filter in, but some of those ones that were kind of teased, I would have liked to have seen, just a little bit more. But hopefully, maybe next level 5, 6. Oh, they did say on the show that they're skipping all those. They're going to go right to 10 because it is their 10-year anniversary. So happy anniversary to Prime 1. Man, what an incredible 10 years it's been. I've been along for the ride for most of it. And it's very exciting because I do continue to see the improvements, the level of sculpt and paint. The artists that work on these are absolutely second to none. And it is absolutely a pleasure to own these pieces. I feel so blessed as I'm looking around the room to see these just epic pieces from Prime 1. A very, very cool event. Again, a big miss with the format for me. It was slow and boring at times, but exciting at other times. And again, that might just be my opinion. I'm curious as to what you guys think. Did you guys like the format? Let Prime 1 know. They're going to listen to feedback. At least hopefully they are, because maybe they'll do something different for their 10-year anniversary show. Who knows? They did say that will be in the fall, so of course we will be live reacting to it at that time. But those were basically my hits and misses of the show. I do think the show overall had a lot of really amazing DC reveals. A lot of other good reveals as well, but again, just stuff that didn't interest me as much. But let me know what you liked, what you didn't like in the comments down below. Otherwise, thank you guys so very much for checking out the video, guys. I love you. Thank you for continuing to support the channel. I cannot do this without you guys. You freaking rock. You are amazing. And thank you again, just from the bottom of my heart. I'll see you soon right here in the Batcave. Bye, everybody. Hey guys, thank you so very much for watching today, and if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button right here on the screen and check out these 2 awesome videos. I think you're going to love them. And also please join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I would love to have you join in all the fun. Thank you guys so very much for watching. See you in the Batcave.